This coming year has to be about being a better individual. I wish I had time to preach. I said 2010 has to be about everybody trying to be a better person. Lift your hands and say, God, make me a better me. Lord have mercy. Paul understands that one trick of the enemy is to play with our mind and to get us stuck in our experience, to toy with our mind and cause us to ungodly determine not to forget and move on. It's a trick of the enemy that won't let us get over our past failures. It's a trick of the enemy that won't let us get over the horrors of our past. It's the craftiness of the enemy that makes us remain mentally and emotionally inside of a situation that we're not realistically going through. So also Paul would have us to know that if you keep reaching back in time for what you consider to be the good old days, that you can never obtain the fullness of the promise. For the Bible teaches us that no matter how great the good old days were, his word said that our latter days shall be our better days. So I don't care how good the good old days used to be. The Bible tells me to reach forward because what's ahead of me is far greater than what's behind me. So Paul in our text, he considered both sides. He considered the good of his days and he considered the bad of his days. He considered his good accomplishments and then he considered his many calamities. He considered his failures. He considered his shameful past. And even gonna let you leave the church. I ain't gonna let you stay mad. I ain't gonna let you have an attitude. What you're gonna do is I'm gonna push you until you learn how to pray. Hey! I do care. Look at somebody say, I do care about your soul.